Welcome back. We are finally in October, and to be honest with you, the releases this month is pretty trash. We technically got robbed of the primary release for this month, which was the Jordan 1 Black Toe Reimagined. And the only other shoe I'm personally looking forward to is the Air Jordan 4 Orchard, the pink joints. But another thing that I'm definitely looking forward to this month is the retail release of Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero. At least the Brokey release anyway, because anybody who purchased the $100 version technically got the game about 3 days ago. So I figured now is a better time as any to compare our top Jordan models, which is 1 through 14, to their Dragon Ball Z counterparts. Let's begin. First, we have the Air Jordan 2. To me, this is Krillin. Let me explain. The Air Jordan 2 iconic colorways, we got the Chicagos, we got the Varsity Reds, we got the Nuggets colorway, and we got the Candy Pack too. And Krillin's iconic moments were technically at the beginning running behind Goku, trying to be better. Eventually was the cause of Goku's Super Saiyan transformation by being killed by Frieza. And after that, like maybe he had one good moment during Super when he took out Frieza's henchmen and the time that Goku sparred with him before the Tournament of Power. So really what I'm saying is, Krillin is technically at the bottom of this list of the Z fighters, just like the Air Jordan 2 is technically at the bottom of the list. The model was really polarizing. A lot of people didn't, especially these days, a lot of people don't necessarily give it the somewhat respect it deserves only because it was at the beginning. Next is the Air Jordan 4, which I'm comparing to Gohan. For the Air Jordan 4, iconic colorways include the Breds, the White Cements, the Military Blues, and the Fire Reds. And iconic moments for Gohan included Super Saiyan 2 Gohan versus Cell, Gohan Mystic Gohan period, Gohan versus Super Buu, and to a lesser extent, Gohan versus Broly. Some would argue that the Jordan 4 is the best Jordan silhouette, just like some people would argue that Gohan is the most powerful of the Z fighters. But of course, a lot of people feel like it just falls short. And of course, over time, the Air Jordan 4 got a lot more colorways that really bumped it up to that next level, just like Gohan finally got his moment to show his full potential in the last Dragon Ball Z movie, when they introduced the Beast transformation. First, we have the Air Jordan 14. And to me, the counterpart for this shoe is Cooler. With the aggressive styling of the Air Jordan 14 and the iconic shark teeth towards the front, it's more reminiscent of Cooler's final form and that first time that we saw that mask drop over his face. It was the coolest moment ever in Dragon Ball. Anybody who grew up and saw that, like, it was crazy when it happened. Just like when they first introduced the Air Jordan 14 and the background behind it, how it was styled after MJ's Ferrari. And it was always a standout model amongst the other ones. And it was technically the first of its kind. A lot of the features we see here, you didn't see in any other Jordan model. Just like Cooler, we all thought everything was the same, but when he made that final transformation and that mask dropped down, people lost their minds. And they both have iconic moments. Like the Air Jordan 14, the biggest moment was the last shot, MJ's final shot to end his career as a Chicago Bulls. And when Cooler achieved this final form, how it seemed like Goku didn't have a chance. And they both stamped their legacies with those moments in history. Next, we have the Air Jordan 13, which I'm gonna compare this to Android 17. With the Air Jordan 13 styling of the Panther's paw and the Panther's eye in this sneaker versus Android 17, which is technically the first of its kind as far as the more powerful androids. Also, a very unique look in terms of Dragon Ball Z. Along with the looks, they both pack unique attributes. Like the Air Jordan 13 is arguably the most comfortable retro of all of the models. And Android 17 being arguably the more powerful android amongst all of the original androids. With the 13's iconic colorways like the Altitudes, the Chicagos, the Playoffs, and the Breds, to Android 17's moments, whether it was getting absorbed by Cell, the Future Trunks arc, and of course, his Dragon Ball Super debut. Next, we have the Air Jordan 11. Arguably the most popular Air Jordan model of all time. Why not compare it to arguably one of the most iconic and popular villains of all time? I'm not talking about Frieza, Majin Buu. Both are crowd favorite, Even if someone don't know about shoes or they don't know about Dragon Ball Z, they recognize these two. They either call these the patent leathers or they call it the little pink crazy dude. Both are household names in their respective universes. Of course, with the 11s, you have the iconic colorways of the Concords, the Breads, the Space Jams. And Majin Buu's iconic moments, whether it been absorbing Gohan, absorbing Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, the whole Kid Buu thing with Goku and Vegeta, it's just all around some of the most iconic moments in Dragon Ball Z and the most iconic sneaker in the Jordan arsenal. Next, I have the Air Jordan 12, which I'm gonna compare to Broly. The most iconic moment with the Air Jordan 12, of course, we all know is the flu game. Just like one of the most iconic moments for Broly was his introduction into the Dragon Ball Super universe. In the Air Jordan 12 coming after arguably the most popular Air Jordan ever in the Air Jordan 11. And you can argue the same with Broly, because technically he came after arguably the most popular villain, being Majin Buu at the end of Dragon Ball Z. The Air Jordan 12 is touted to be the most durable of the Air Jordan retros. And speaking of durability, Broly is touted to be one of the most durable Saiyans. He's adaptable, and he alone forced Goku and Vegeta to perform the fusion dance. And the funny part about that is the fact that the Air Jordan 12 was the first Jordan introduced in the Air Jordan Air Force One fusion era. If that's not a match made in heaven, I don't know what is. Next, we have the Air Jordan 10, which I'm comparing to Hercule. Okay, hear me out. The Air Jordan 10 was originally designed without Michael's game in mind, because of course he was coming out of retirement. He just came out of retirement, and Tinker Hatfield had to design the shoe, and he couldn't design it around his performance, so he decided to design it around his accomplishments. And also the controversy around the Air Jordan 10, which is comparable to the controversy and the legacy of Hercule. Hercule was a human martial artist, technically the king of all tournaments. He beat all of his opponents, but of course the controversy was that he claimed to have superpowers, and a lot of the people he was paying off to win a lot of matches, which matches the controversy with the Air Jordan 10 in the infamous toe cap situation. Just like Hercule, somewhat relevant in all situations, but never really at the top, more down towards the bottom a little bit. Next, we have the Air Jordan 9, and I'm comparing this to Cell. Although the Air Jordan 9 wasn't worn on the court, it was worn on the baseball field. When MJ announced his unprecedented retirement, it shocked the sports world. Just like when Cell announced the Cell games. Cell, being a perfected android / organic being, achieved his perfect form by absorbing the previous androids. You can see with the Air Jordan 9, you see the parts taken from previous models. It makes sense to compare it to Cell. Most notably, the sock liner from the 7/8, more reminiscent of the 8, is technically like a perfected version of the sock liner from the Air Jordan 8. You get it? Perfection. Although not many moments, it was enough moments to solidify the Jordan 9 as a contender for the top models. Just like Cell, only talking about perfect Cell here, his stint wasn't long, but it was iconic. Next, we have the Air Jordan 8, which I'm comparing to Android 18. Both polarizing debuts, the Air Jordan 8 was introduced with an upgraded sock liner from the Air Jordan 7, and for the first time ever, an Air Jordan with straps. Not just one strap, but 2 lockdown straps, which pretty much set it apart from all previous models. Just like Android 18, this was the first female character with the power level that can rival any of the Z fighters at the time. And with the iconic colorways of the Chromes, the Playoffs, and the Bugs Bunnies, and the Aquas, it quickly cemented itself as one of the better and unique models out of the retro Jordans. Just like Android 18's iconic moments, whether it was her humbling Super Saiyan Vegeta, which kind of hurt my feelings, and the fact that she technically was human a little bit and had a baby by Krillin, but that's a whole nother thing, I guess. So it's hard to argue with anyone that has the 8 as their top model or Android 18 as their favorite character. Next we have the Air Jordan 7, and I'm comparing this to Frieza. While the Jordan 7 had interesting colorways, it seemed like a lot of them kind of fell short of popularity among sneakerheads. Really everybody gravitated towards the Raptors, you had the Citrus, you had the Bordeaux's, then you had the Orient Blues, and you had the Cardinals. Frieza's moments include his multi-form face-off against the Z-Fighters on Planet Namek, the iconic face-off with Goku, and his epic return in Dragon Ball Super, which gave us Golden Frieza. Next we have the Air Jordan 6, which I'm comparing to Piccolo. The Air Jordan 6 has iconic colorways like the Carmines, the Infrareds, and the white infrared. Just like iconic moments for Piccolo, which included the special beam cannon to kill Goku and Raditz, the fact that he technically raised Gohan, and his full power moment in the last Dragon Ball Super movie. A lot of people say the Air Jordan 6 is not at the top of their list, just like a lot of people wouldn't put Piccolo that far up the Dragon Ball Z ladder, but both over time earn a lot of appreciation and respect from their fans. Next we have the Air Jordan 5, and I'm comparing this to Trunks. First of its kind upon release, the Air Jordan 5 seemed like a more futuristic version of the Air Jordan 4. Just like Trunks in his futuristic debut in Dragon Ball Z. Iconic colorways for the Jordan 5 include the fire red black tongues, the black metallics, the grapes, and the lanies. Just like iconic moments for Trunks includes his debut going Super Saiyan against Goku's finger, pause, the shock factor when we found out that he was the son of Vegeta and Bulma, and of course, when he ultimately chopped Frieza up into pieces and turned him into dust. One other similarity between the two was MJ wore the Air Jordan 5 in their devastating playoff defeat to the Detroit Pistons. Just as Trunks, although he helped the Z-Fighters in the past, as he went back to the future, nothing actually changed. So they both were touted in losses and lessons. Next we have the Air Jordan 3, which I'm gonna compare it to Vegeta. Iconic colorways for the Air Jordan 3s include the white cements, the black cements, the fire reds, and the true blues. Iconic moments for Vegeta includes his first face-off with Goku, his face-off with the androids, his battle with Cell, and his rematch with Goku. Like Vegeta, the Air Jordan 3 gained a lot more appreciation down the lines, and further colorways really pushed it to the forefront of one of the top Jordan models. Just like Vegeta's accolades after the Dragon Ball series, these events pushed them both to the forefront of their respective universes. But a lot of people felt like they just fell short of the #1 spot. And the Jordan 1, which you already know, is Goku. The one that started it all. The model that launched the beginning of one of the most dominant brands on the planet. Just like Goku, the face of one of the most famous animes ever created. There are endless colorways to cover, whether it be the Chicagos, the Breads, the Royals, the Shadows, the Shattered Backboards, the UNCs. Just like it's thousands of different moments for Goku, whether it be the first encounter with Vegeta, the introduction of Ultra Instinct, the introduction of Super Saiyan 4, Super Saiyan 3, the battle with Majin Buu, the battle with Cell, the face-off against Beerus. Although some people will say both are a little overhyped, it's the nostalgia, they push these too far. But when you look at the history and the lineage, it's kind of hard to argue. Just like the official debut of the Jordan 1 was pretty much one of the launch pads for MJ's soon-to-be global dominance. Just like that moment when Goku went Super Saiyan for the first time, which pretty much solidified Dragon Ball Z as one of the best animes ever. And those are my thoughts. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you. Let me know in the comment section below what models or characters you would have changed around. I know I stayed in one particular condensed space, but again, it's up to interpretation. So let me know your favorite model or your favorite DBZ character in the comment section below. Shout out to everybody picking up Sparking Zero. I see y'all in them online pools. And as always, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Peace.